Hey, what's up you guys, how's it going? Oh, you know what? Much better. So, a lot of you people have been asking me to create my own YouTube channel where I can share my recipes, do my own thing, be crazy, be myself and whatnot. So, here I am with my own YouTube channel. I know, crazy. I don't know what I'm doing here, so bear with me. So, the few people who asked for it, you better share, subscribe, do one of those things. I don't know, whatever that is. So, without enough faffing around, let me take you on a journey with my metal breakdown pizza. Or the pizza that I make on my metal breakdown. Alright, let's go. Cool. Hey, what's up guys, how's it going? It's me. I know, y'all doing good? Good. So I'd like to preface this video by saying that this is not a traditional Italian pizza. I'm just trying to make food. So please don't come for me in the comments. Okay, cool. So what we have here is a bowl of warm water, about 250 to 300 milliliters of warm water. To this we're going to be adding a teaspoon of granulated sugar. It's going to act as food for the yeast which we're going to be adding. It's about a teaspoon of active dry yeast. So if you have instant yeast at home, you can totally skip this step. So mix it and I'll catch up with you guys after 5 minutes. Okay, so 5 minutes later, as we can see, there's a lot of bubble action going on around in this yeast. Basically what it means is that the yeast is alive, but however, if you do not see this after 5 minutes, it basically means that your yeast is dead and you have to throw over and start up with a fresh batch of yeast. Alright, cool. Okay, so let's make this dough. What I have here is this huge giant metal bowl. I don't even know why I have this, but I do. To this, I'm going to be adding about 400 grams of all-purpose flour. This is going to be making 2 pizzas, so keep that in mind. To which I'm going to be adding about a teaspoon of table salt. Now, the reason why I'm adding salt to the flour than the yeast mixture is because that is going to make the yeast hypertonic and kill the yeast. So don't do that, add the salt over here. To this, I'm going to be adding about a tablespoon and a half of a good olive oil. You can use any oil you want, it's just for flavor, so get it in there. So to this, we're going to be adding our star of the show, the alive yeast mixture. So get it all in there. So after you've added all this in there, you're going to have to get your hands dirty, put it in there and start mixing it. It's going to come up into a crumbly mess, but trust me, keep kneading and it's going to come into a good dry dough ball. And I'll catch up with you guys after that happens. Okay, so once the dough comes to this stage, we have to knead it for 20 minutes. It's pretty easy. Stop being a drama queen and get kneading. Okay, I take that back. It's actually kind of hard. Now I'm tired. I just need a tea break right now, so let's go. Hi, how are you? Sit down and relax. Grab a cup of tea or a cup of joe. Let's talk about life. Have we done everything in life? Is this even real? Okay, after 5 minutes of kneading, the dough is going to be looking like this. Yes, it's going to be very sticky and it's going to be sticking to all your hands. Do not worry, this is supposed to happen. Just keep kneading for another 10 more minutes. And it's going to start releasing from the bowl and then you're done. Okay, so 10 minutes later, you're going to know when to stop kneading the dough is when the cohesive forces outbeat the adhesive force. Basically, it means that it's sticking to itself rather than it's sticking to other surfaces. As you can see, it's not sticking to the bowl. Neither is it sticking that much to my hand. Now, what you're going to do is add some amount of flour and try to get this dough into a ball. Now, the best way to do this is kind of using a pinching method. Just put your hands underneath the dough and pinch and try to form it into a ball as I'm showing you to right now. So a good way to tell if the dough is ready is just by poking the dough, and if it bounces straight back, that means that the dough is ready. So another way to test if the dough is actually done is to perform what I call a glutinous window test. Take a small portion of dough and try to stretch it with your 4 fingers, and if it stretches like a window without breaking that easily and strands are seen against the light, that means that the dough is a-okay. Enough amount of gluten has formed, so that means that you can let the dough rest finally. So what I have here is a metal bowl. Just remember that point, a metal bowl. And I'm just going to grease the bowl and also the dough just so that it releases easily after it has risen, so that it doesn't lose any bubbles. So just lather the dough, lube it up completely and then let it rest. Cover this entire thing with cling film so that it doesn't lose any moisture, and then finally place it in a warm, dark place so that it has its first rise. Okay, cool. Okay, update. It's been 2 hours. But the dough, it did not rise. I don't understand. I've done this dough so many times, but this did not rise. I don't know what to do. So after giving a couple of hours of thought into this, I realized that the only thing that I've changed is use that freaking metal bowl. So I did go. Oh, that's the wrong type of yeast. So when I did Google if metal does kill yeast, apparently there are some articles that say that metal does kill yeast. Since this is a pretty controversial topic online, I'm not going to be making much comments about it. But, however, in this condition, it did not work with a metal bowl. I had kept the temperature right, I've done everything right. It just did not work with the metal bowl. It worked with this glass bowl, so you guys take it as you will. So let's get a cutting board so that we can divide this dough into 2 pieces. And yeah, so once I get this freaking paper thing, was that cling wrap off of this thing, we can finally get the dough in here. So after the first rise of the dough, there will be a lot of bubbles in the dough, but however, it's going to be pretty inconsistent with areas of larger bubbles and areas of smaller bubbles. So what we're going to be doing right now is knead the dough. In doing so, it's going to collapse the larger bubbles to smaller ones, but you're not going to be kneading hard enough to collapse the smaller bubbles. So the entire dough is going to contain a lot of smaller bubbles. So in that case, when you send them for the second proof, they are all going to grow evenly. So divide this dough into 2 pieces because obviously we're going to make 2 pizzas out of this dough. So turn them into small dough balls with that pinching mechanism that I taught you and send them for their second proof. Alright, cool. So we have our beautiful cutting board, our knife, and our delicious, beautiful looking fresh produce. So let's get this mise en place going. That's my knife. Ooh, look at that sound. So I'm mincing about 9 to 10 cloves of garlic. I just really like garlic. Y'all can obviously reduce it if you do not enjoy it that much. So as we can see, my knife is pretty well balanced, so that's why it's pretty easy for me to cut. So if you are buying a chef knife, make sure it's a good one and it's well balanced. So let's get this garlic out of the way and then chop this red onion into small bits, almost like mincing them. I actually like shallots for the marinara sauce, but you can use either shallots or onions. So oh my god, why am I even showing you chopping? Y'all know how to chop the thing. Okay, chopped it. Great. Let's put this thing into this beautiful bowl. Now I'm shooting this on my table, so let me not make any mess. Oh. Ah! Okay, so we have our capsicum chopped and our onions minced and also our garlic minced. But what happened to the tomatoes? What happened? Whoa, bam! So what we've done here is we've chopped the tomatoes, de-seeded them, peeled them, and made them into a delicious tomato puree. And then we are done with our mise en place. So what we have here is our setup for making the good sauce. We have this induction cooker, which is amazing. Just kidding, it hardly works. And I'm going to be placing this non-stick pan on top of it. To this, I'm going to be adding a little bit of that was a lot. You can definitely reduce the amount of oil. That was my mistake. So once the oil is heated up, the first thing that you're going to do is add some garlic. I love garlic, so I've taken a lot of cloves. You can definitely reduce it. You have to cook the garlic until it lightly toasts, not until it turns brown. You're going to know when it's cooked when the aroma changes from the raw aroma to kind of a cooked aroma. What I'm using right now is a silicone spatula. So this is not a rubber spatula. It's silicone and it's heat resistant. I've done with a rubber spatula. It did not go so well. So make sure that it's a silicone spatula. Next thing that we're going to add is our chopped shallots, or in this case, our chopped red onions. So we're going to cook them until they turn translucent. Just like that. So once the shallots turn translucent, you can add your next ingredient, which is the tomato paste. You can totally skip this step if you do not have any tomato paste. I just like using it because it gives a depth of flavor. Give it a good mix, give it a gentle stir, and add some dry basil. You can add fresh basil if you have any, but I do not have any at this time. After you've given a good mix, you're going to add your star of the show, the tomato puree. Add it all in and give it a good mix. And before you start simmering this, you're going to be adding, finally, the salt. I'm using pink Himalayan salt. It gives a depth of flavor. If y'all don't have it, just use regular salt. Honestly, I don't even know why I'm giving this fancy ingredients. You can add next some amount of chili flakes. I'm using a tablespoon of them. I like a good spice. So give it a good mix. So tomatoes are generally an acidic fruit, so the idea of simmering them for hours and hours is to turn that acidity into a very mild sweetness. But however, if you don't got time for that, you can reduce that time to about 45 minutes or an hour by just adding a teaspoon of sugar. So I have been simmering this sauce for about an hour and a half right now, and look at that beauty. It smells so good in here. All of that acidity has turned into a complex and sweet note, so we can turn off the stove right now and keep this aside for future use. Okay, so what I have here is about 300 grams of chicken breast, and I'm going to be roasting it on this pan right now. So let's turn on the heat and add a little bit of oil. Okay, that was not a little bit. I need to really get a new oil container. Okay, cool. To this, I'm going to be adding some ginger garlic paste. Now, remember that I told you it was not a traditional pizza? Yes, leave me alone. Okay, so you're going to roast it until that raw note is gone, and then you're going to add all of your chicken. Now, the reason why I'm roasting this chicken is because you're going to be cooking this pizza only for like 10 minutes, and it's not going to cook the chicken whole if you just not cook it here. So you don't want to get like salmonella and stuff. Alternatively, you can use like tofu or like cottage cheese or paneer if you want. So the next ingredient that we are going to be adding here is the turmeric, which I believe to be the most important ingredient right now, because chicken usually tends to have a foul flavor, and the second that you add turmeric, it's going to cut through that foulness. It's also anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, and all of that stuff. It's healthy for you, so just add it, trust me. Finally, you're going to be adding some amount of garam masala. Yes, it's not a traditional pizza. Mix it. Next, you're going to add some coriander powder, and finally some chilli powder, and then you're going to give it one final toss, and then you're going to cook your chicken about 65%. Yes, give it your final toss, and I think you're done. That's about it. What could possibly be missing? That's it. Totally in the end, not just because you forgot, you're going to add some salt. Yeah, I totally definitely added that there on purpose, not because I forgot. Okay, the chicken is done. Stop tossing it. Okay, that's good. Stop. Alright, so now that the chicken is done, you can take it out and put it to a place to cool so that it can stop cooking. Okay, so we are at our final stretch of making our pizza. The only thing left to do now is to lightly sweat our fresh produce vegetable toppings. Now the reason why we're doing this is because you want to let them sweat out their moisture right now and not on top of the pizza, because they'll make the pizza go soggy and you don't want that. Okay, cool. So let's turn this thing on. Okay, turn on. Okay, just stand by for... Oh my god. Yeah, remember how I said this thing doesn't work? It does not. There we go. I've never felt so infuriated by a stove before. Add some oil, just little. Okay, thank God, that was actually little. So now that you added your little amount of oil onto your pan, give it a light spread, and then toss in your vegetables in there. Ideally, you would toss them separately, but ain't nobody got time for that now. I'm really hungry. So remember how I said this was a mental breakdown pizza? If you did not have a mental breakdown at the start, you probably already have one now. So now, at the last moment, I'm deciding that this amount of vegetables is not enough for 2 pizzas, so I'm going to be adding more amount of capsicums, which I conveniently chopped, and some more amount of onions. So now just give them a quick toss. They don't need a lot of time, they just need to sweat for about like 45 seconds or so. And I'm just trying to show off my tossing skills, which is obviously not working. I'm just dropping everything on the floor. Yeah, there we go. Let's get it out. Take it out. So we're at that time where we can finally make our pizza, so just give our pan a gentle dust. That is our second proof dough. Look how big it has gotten. So just gently spread this pizza. While spreading this pizza, make sure you're gonna leave a rim on the edge, so that forms a beautiful crust of the pizza so that you can eat it. Honestly, that's the best part of the pizza. And for those ungodly people who throw away their crust, I don't even want to talk about that, because I'm making my beautiful crust right now, and then I think it's absolutely necessary for a good pizza. Okay, cool. Now that the pizza crust has formed, let's get topping the pizza. Yay! We can finally assemble our pizza. On my right, we have our beautifully made marinara sauce, and on our left, we have our prepped toppings. Now take a good ladle amount of marinara sauce and spread it on top of the pizza. People say do not add too much amount of sauce. I would say just add the amount of sauce that is required to give a thin coating over your pizza. Okay, cool, just like so. Once it's done, take it out. You don't want to add more of the sauce because you don't want to overpower the pizza. Now, you can orderly add your vegetables, or you can just literally throw in there, because I'm pretty hungry right now and I'm very impatient. So just toss it in there just like that. So ta-da! We're done with the vegetables. Now we can add our proteins on top. It can be your chicken, it can be your tofu, it can be your cottage cheese, paneer, soy chunks, whatever. But make sure it's warm to the touch, because I'm literally burning my hands. Yes, you can see me suffer there. I'm actually burning my hands. Now fill that chicken on pretty quickly, because there's one ingredient. Have y'all guessed it yet? Have y'all guessed it yet? Come on, how dare you? You don't know that? It is cheese! Come on, y'all. How can y'all forget that? Right now, I'm going to be using mozzarella cheese. You can be adding anything. Cheddar is a little bit amount of fatty. honestly, on a pizza, I don't even think you should be worried about that anymore. So I'm making sure that I'm dropping extra amount of cheese on the crust, because when it bakes in the oven, it's going to form this crispy bits of cheese. I, for one, am a strong believer that it's absolutely essential to form a crust char on pizza. So I'm going to be putting this pizza in the oven for about 230 degrees for about 10 to 12 minutes. In the end, ta-da, we are done. Boom, yes, done. Drop the glove. There's no mic, so just drop the glove. That is a beautiful pizza, if I do say so myself. Honestly, I would have had more char on this pizza, but for aesthetic purposes and for this video. Okay, cool. So we have our pizza and our cute, beautiful apple cutting board. Now let's transfer this pizza onto this board in 3, 2, 1. Boom! Just like magic. Okay, cool. Let's position this beauty properly and cut this pizza with my pizza cutter. A friend gave it to me. I'm still thankful for the guy. Anyways, cut this into 6 pieces because this is a 12-inch pizza. Okay, cool. We're done. I'm sorry. I'm not even going to be serving this to myself. I'm just going to eat it right now. Okay. Sorry, guys. Oh, yeah. That was worth it. That was definitely worth it. Okay, before we go, here's the vegetarian pizza that I made for my vegetarian friends out there, or for my non-vegetarian friends who just want to eat a vegetarian pizza at the moment. I don't judge. So honestly, it tasted pretty great, and to be honest, it looks way better than the chicken pizza, so y'all can make it too. If you guys do make this pizza at home, just let me know how it went down in the comments below, or just tag me on Instagram, one of those, at any point of this video. If you did enjoy it, just make sure to hit that like button, and then you can subscribe. Who knows, maybe I'm going to be posting more. Alrighty guys, thanks for all the support. Peace.